Hi friends, and welcome back to the Living Well with Bipolar Disorder channel. My name is Patty, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about what my trauma therapy has been like so far. I do want to remind everybody that I am not a mental health professional. I'm simply sharing my experience with bipolar disorder in hopes to help others who are living with the disorder or any other mental health problem, and hoping by sharing my experience we can kind of help each other out and develop a culture or an environment where we can all share our stories and heal, hopefully. First I'm going to share some, first I've been in trauma therapy. I've had 4 sessions now, and I wanted to share the things that I did not expect would happen in trauma therapy and some of the things that I've experienced so far. So I'm just very new to trauma therapy. I've never done it before, and I just felt like now was a good time to try and do it. So I may make a couple of videos about this because there's no way I can cover all of it in one video. So I'll start with the things that I did not expect. The first thing, compared to other therapy I've had, and I've been in therapy quite a while, the one thing I did not expect is I'm not accustomed to having questions that I didn't have an answer for. And part of this, I think, is my new provider. He just has a different way of doing therapy. And also just, I think I was prepared to have the first session be kind of a information gathering and have an assessment, because that's typically what happens, and it tends to be just general questions. But this trauma therapy was not the same as other therapy, and so I was faced with some questions right off the bat that I wasn't sure how to answer. So that's something I didn't expect. Also, another thing I didn't expect were, I guess you could call them physiological, not changes, but I've sort of experienced some things such as lack of appetite and huge cravings for alcohol, especially after my first session. I didn't have an appetite, but all I wanted was to kind of drink a bottle of wine and go to bed. I have since figured out how to kind of not do that, to avoid that as much as possible. And then also my food cravings. So the first time was no appetite, and now every time I have a session I get these cravings for high sugar, high fat foods. So I wasn't expecting that because I had never experienced that with any other type of therapy. And then the last thing that I wasn't expecting is what it's like the day after a session, because you may experience this as well. The next day, I don't necessarily feel depressed or anything like that, but I just feel kind of off, and I have trouble concentrating and with focus and things like that. The good thing though is I am processing the session and what we talked about and things like that. So in a way it's good, but I just want to, if any of you are interested in this, you may find yourself feeling kind of off and confused and have trouble focusing the next day. But usually by the 3rd day it's much better. So I just wanted to give a few tips if you're new to trauma therapy. One thing I want to suggest is that you have a plan for after your sessions, because you may feel emotional distress. You may even experience some depression, some fear, things like that. And so you really need to have some form of self-care planned ahead of time. For me, it's exercise. I find that if I do some cardio exercise for about an hour after my sessions, for one thing, I just feel better and I can process while I'm doing that. And then also, kind of going back to the beginning of the video, it helps kind of kind of avoid those alcohol cravings if I exercise first, almost right after the session. It kind of helps with those alcohol cravings. So, but for you, it could be any form of self-care. You may want to come home and take a hot bath, or watch, one of my strategies is watching comedy, or reading a good book and things like that. Just make sure you have something in place ahead of time. Also, this may sound really silly, but one thing I have found is that the following day I really lack energy to really do anything. And so one thing I try to do is to stay hydrated and try to eat as well as I can. Like I said, I end up craving all sorts of fatty, high sugar, high fat foods. And so if you can try and eat healthier the next day and stay hydrated, I think that's going to help with your energy, the low energy that you may deal with the following day. So those are some ways I cope with the therapy: exercise, hydrating, and eating well as best I can. It's really, really hard. Honestly, guys, I have to admit that trauma therapy is really difficult. It's going to be a different experience for everybody. And like I said, I want to make more videos about this, but it's a challenge. And in fact, I think one of the first things I heard about trauma therapy was that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And so far, I've only had 4 sessions, but so far that has been my exact experience. It's really difficult to deal with. But I know in the end, it's going to be worth it. And I'll talk in another video about why I'm doing this and what my expectations are, but that's for another video. So anyway, I'm going to end this video here. Be sure to, yes, by the way, I'm very cold. Otherwise, I could make a longer video, but I live in the Pacific Northwest and it's November and it's also raining and we're at a state park at higher elevation. So I'm surprised it's not snowing. But anyway, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And also share your comments in the comment section below. If you're going through trauma therapy right now and have some more ideas to share with everybody, feel free to do that in the comments below. I think that's how, my subscribers and anyone watching the video, I think it's really helpful to share this information. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now and go jump in a nice warm car. Have a good day. Bye-bye, guys.